Amrita Madam joined as Assistant Professor in Kerala Agriculture University on 15 October 2005, and she handled classes on agriculture entomology and handled 7 projects and many trainings and other orientation refresher course, and conducted and also conducted many workshops, participant in many projects. That is also, and he guided 9 MSc student and 2 PhD student, and many research paper already published, around 25, and a member of many professional society like Association for Advancement of Entomology, Principals of Apiary Industry Sector Committee, then Federation of Indigenous Apiculturists, then Editorial Committee of the Nature Tourism, and many award is also taken, that Best ACRIP Research Center Award in 2013, then Best ACRIP Center for Reporting in 2018, and also Women Scientist Award in 2019, and also many other works also there. So not taking much time, I request to Dr. Amrita Madam, you start your presentation. You share your PowerPoint.
Okay, sir.
I allow.
Okay, right.
I allow.
Okay, now it's okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me for handling a class on which comes under the NHEP project, prospects of this apiculture. So you may be having a course on apiculture during your PSCG program, and even though I am giving some basic ideas, and after that we can go to the scope as well as what is the components to be involved or to be included while writing a project. Okay, so the topic is entrepreneurship, scope and prospects. So you may be all knowing about the types of bees we have. So bees are social insects. So now we can see what are the different types of bees we have in our country. Okay, it's seen throughout our country. Again, mainly there are 4 types coming under the genus Apis and 1 coming under the Melipone group, that is the stingless bees. So for your better understanding, I have classified them into 2 groups. The bees coming under the genus Apis, that is the Indian bee and the Italian bee. They are the one which we are domesticating, and towards North India, mainly nowadays the Italian bees are more concentrated, while towards the South India it's the Indian bee, and towards the Northeast also we are doing mainly concentrating on the Apis cerana indica or the Indian bee. So what is domesticated bee? Suppose you are visiting a field where there are natural colonies of bees or feral colonies. How you can identify their hives? That is the natural feral colonies. Here you can see they are the domesticated ones, and usually they are seen in multiple parallel combs and in the enclosed condition. So if you are seeing natural feral colonies in enclosed condition or in the hollow cavities with the multiple parallel combs, then you can definitely understand, or you can say that it is an Indian bee or the Italian bee. While the other one, that is the non-domesticated one, they are of single comb. They possess only single comb, and you can see they may be attached to the branches or to the elevated region, that is on the sunshade area of a multi-storied building like that, or on the rock. So mainly two types are there. That is the rock bee, Apis dorsata, and the little bee, Apis florea. And another thing is they are seen in exposed condition. Okay. Apart from these four types which come under the genus Apis, we have the stingless bees, that is Tetragonella ridipenis. And here the main difference when compared to the other is the comb of the Apis type are generally they possess hexagonal cells, but here all the brood as well as the storage pods, that is the pollen and the honey pods, they are seen in pods. Small globular structures are there inside which there you can see the brood and their storage like a pollen and the honey. Okay, so these are the main differences between the different types of hives of stingless bee, and we can see this is the difference of the three in size of the three types, that is Apis cerana, Indian bee, Apis mellifera, Italian, and the Apis dorsata, which is the biggest one, that is called the rock bee. It is a ferocious one, we cannot handle it. Okay, and now we can see one by one. The first one is the Indian bee or the Apis cerana, and here you can see it. It can be seen up to 200 meter above mean sea level. And when we go for the scientific management practices, we can harvest up to 10 to 15 kg of Indian bee honey from a single hive. Earlier, we could harvest only 8 to 10 kg, but now by practicing the scientific methods, we can workers, number of workers per hive may extend from 10,000 to 50,000 like that. Okay, so next one is the giant bee or the rock bee. They are the largest one of the four types of the Apis, and you can see the one colony being hung from the branch of a tree and even on the sunshade of the multi-storied building, and you can see their abdomen is much enlarged of the four type of the other when compared to the other three types. And its single comb may comes to possess an area of 1 meter square, and the average yield that we get from a single colony is 50 to 80 kg, okay, of honey per colony. And in our country, I think 20% of the honey is being harvested from the introduced bee or the Italian bee. It was introduced during 1962, and in our state Kerala it was introduced during 1992, and the average yield obtained is about 40 to 60 kg per hive, and here the number of workers is much high, that is 75,000. And now coming to the fourth one, it is the smallest bee. So it is also known as the little bee or the Apis florea. And you can see this beak. So it is constructing around the comb around the cheek, and you can see that it's a single comb. And you can identify the bees very easily by observing the body pattern, particularly the white and black stripes on the abdomen. You can see that. And it's also an important pollinator, but we couldn't get much honey from that, hardly 900 grams per colony. So it's a poor honey yielder. Okay. And now, the one which comes under the apollinated group is the stingless bee. They are called stingless because they do not possess the sting, but they usually protect from others by means of its mouth parts, mandibulate mouth parts. And here you can see the different stages. The left one, the biggest pod, what you can see is the honey pod, near to which you can see the queen, and you can see the swollen abdomen of the queen. And next, very next to it, towards the top, you can see the pollen pods, and you can see a drone there. And towards the right, you can see a number of workers. And finally, the last picture is the pillars which support the brood of the stingless bee. So this also normally is a poor yielder, but we could get only hardly 1 kg of honey from a single colony. But the thing is that this honey is much costly because of its medicinal properties. Because the medicinal property of the honey depends upon the foraging plants visited by the bees. So here mostly the stingless bees, they used to visit the weed plants, and the alkaloids and the phenols of these weed plants are rich in medicinal properties, and that's why the honey of the stingless bee is more possess more antioxidant property and like that. So it's used for curing so many diseases and also including cancer. Now we can say that's about the types, and now we can see the caste. It's a social insect. So here the population index is distributed in such a way that there is a queen. She had the leading role in controlling all the activities of the comb or the hive. And you can see there is a worker bee, and worker bee, there may be 75,000 of worker bees in the case of Italian, but it's less when we take the Indian bee. And you can see the drone bee or the male bee. And I think you may have gone through the distinguishing characters of these. You can see right from this picture, the queen by the elongated abdomen, you can see. And in the case of worker bee, this abdomen is blunt. In the case of this drone bee, the abdomen is blunt, while in the case of worker bee, it's pointed. And by the distance between the compound eyes also, we can identify there are a number of features. And how these worker bees and drones are formed. Worker bees and queen are formed from fertilized eggs, while drones from the unfertilized eggs. All these things you may be thorough, you may have gone through a BCAG program. So I'm not going in detail to that. And now coming to the work distribution among the worker bees, that is based on their age. They are emergents. These worker bees, they will clean the cells, and after 3 to 5 days, they will feed the larvae to the younger ones. And those of 6 to 12 days age, they will produce the royal jelly. Royal jelly, they are produced from, actually it's a combination of the secretions of glands, hypopharyngeal and mandibular gland is what is called the royal jelly. And it is the one which is fed to the queen, which increases its reproductive capacity and all. Then finally, those of 12 to 20 days, those worker bees, they are engaged in packing the pollen, then building the combs, capping the cells, ripening the nectar, that is by means of the fanning method, that is they use to flutter the wings, then receiving the nectar, a defense mechanism, all these within the hive, all this is done by workers of 12 to 20 days. And those of 20 days old, they used to go for foraging. Foraging is nothing but these bees, they require the nectar as the carbohydrate source and the protein as the that is the pollen as the protein source. So their nutritional requirements are satisfied with these nectar and the pollen from the plants. So these bees find their foraging plants, and then they will take that activity is called the foraging. And here you can see a picture of the hypopharyngeal glands, a queen cell, and this is the larvae of the queen. You can see towards the bottom. And finally, drone bees, the male bees, is their only function is just mating with the queen. And here, just a picture to show about the idea of the life cycle. And you can see a queen bee inserting her abdomen to lay the egg towards the cell. And after 3 days, this egg, from this egg, larva will emerge. And here you can see the worker bees coming and providing feed for the larvae. And then they will go for the pre-pupal stage. And then next one is the pupation. By that time, you can see the cell will be closed with a wax capping, and now the pupation you can see inside the cell, and after that the adult bee will come by itself, emerge from the cell. So this is a life cycle of the Indian bee, what I have seen, and this has an important role when while we are doing the division and all. At that time, we should know what is the adult longevity of the queen and at what time we have to provide the cell and all. For knowing this, we have to know the life cycle of the Indian bee. So the beekeepers have an awareness or orientation about this life cycle. Okay, period is almost same for all, but the larval period is for the queen it's 5 and workers 6, and for drone it's 7. And again, there is variation in the pupal period and also in the adult longevity. Beekeeping, particularly if we are having a stingless bee colony in our house, even women can also handle it very easily. So it helps in generating self-employment to the women as well as for the unemployed youth. And apart from all these, enhanced crop production is an important factor which we will get through the beekeeping. And now we can go through the hive-based products. What are the products which we obtain from the hive? All of us are well aware about the honey, and you know how these bees are collecting the honey. You know that will be collecting the nectar from different plants, and these nectar, once reaching the crop, that is the part of the foregut, this crop is also known as the honey stomach, and there this nectar they will acted by an enzyme called invertase, which convert the nectar into the honey. So during which that is what happens is the polysaccharides are converted into that is the disaccharide sugars are converted into monosaccharides. Okay, so sucrose is converted into glucose and fructose. That's what happening. And again, back to the hive, these nectar are again transferred through prophylaxis, that's mouth-to-mouth transfer to the another worker bees. And during this time, again, there will reduction in moisture occurs, and finally, this honey will be regurgitated into the comb cells. Okay, so next important product that we are obtaining is the pollen. So nowadays we have different mechanism to collect the pollen through the pollen trap. with the help of the pollen trap, and we have to maintain it in ambient temperature. First, we have to dry and we can store. These are the main two products. Then, other than that, you know about the wax, and wax is the one which is produced by the worker bees of 14 to 18 days old worker bees. They have the sternal glands. There is fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh sternal glands of the worker bees. They possess a pair of sternal glands, these wax glands each, and from which these wax flakes are produced, and they will be taking that to the mouth part by means of the wax picking leg, and with the help of the mandibles they are finally shapen these wax flakes into comb. And after the honey harvest, we will be harvesting the empty combs, and we will be processing the wax obtained from that empty combs, and we will be converting them into wax blocks. And nowadays these wax blocks are mostly used for the preparing the candles, then soap, and even for making polishes. And apart from all these, I think you may be knowing what is the major role in the beekeeping. It is used for the preparation of the comb foundation sheet. Comb foundation sheet is nothing but it is a sheet made up of the beeswax, and it is having the impregnation of the hexagonal base of that hexagonal cell, so that it will reduce the time of the bee to bee to construct the combs. Okay, so it has an immense number of uses. And next here you can see royal jelly. I have already told royal jelly is produced by the worker bees, and they are produced from the hypopharyngeal of mandibular glands are also mixed, and you know the role of the royal jelly. Then next one is propolis. Propolis, the thing is that out of the five types of bees we have studied, only the Italian bee and the stingless bee, they are producing the propolis, and this propolis are mainly used for covering or sealing.
हेलो कौन हो ना आपको हेलो हाँ तुम्हारा नाम क्या है अरे भाई रॉन्ग नंबर है हाँ नहीं रे नहीं रॉन्ग नंबर है कहाँ से बात कर रहे हो नहीं रॉन्ग नंबर है हाँ नहीं आपको कौन हो ना आपको हाँ नहीं भैया रॉन्ग नंबर है हम हैदराबाद से है रॉन्ग नंबर है हाँ अच्छा
Poisonous gland, actually, bee venom is the accessory gland is modified to the poisonous glands, and you can see the ovipositor modified in the sting. And bee venom is harvested by means of a bee venom collector. That is nothing but we are providing a 12-volt current. So the bees will continuously sting on the glass present on the bee venom collector, and we can sight the bee venom, and then it can be stored in the powdered form. And we can, according to the recommendation by the doctor and all, we can make into the different dilutions and can administer to the patients. Earlier, is directly for injecting the bee venom, and this technique was first imported from China. So we have gone through the 6 products from there is honey, then royal jelly, wax, pollen, and venom, and propolis. These are the important products which we are getting from the hive. So that itself fetches much price. apart from that, another thing that nowadays the farmers are focusing on the value addition. That is high-based value addition of that's high-based value-added products. That is, they are making different value-added products from the honey, even from wax also. Again, this also increases their income or revenue from the beekeeping. Okay. So earlier I have already mentioned about this. You can see here the different pictures of the soap as well as the candles which are prepared from the bee wax. Then here on the right side you can see the bee venom pellet made from the bee venom, and it costs nearly 10,000 rupees per gram, and from a single colony we may get hardly 50 to 100 or maximum 150 milligram we will be getting the bee venom from the single colony. So it's so much precious. And here you can see some of the products from propolis, that is the propolis soap. Then propolis liquid, I have mentioned that it's very important for treating the diseases in the gum. Then it cost about 1,683 rupees per 70 gram of the bee propolis. And towards the bottom you can see the bee pollen. Bee pollen, that is, it comes to about it is not dollar but rupees 999 per 500 gram. And here you can see the royal jelly. Royal jelly is available in the capsule form also. Here in Kerala, the farmers, they used to purchase the royal jelly from outside state, and then they used to sell the royal jelly in capsules, and in a container, small bottle containing 30 capsules, it comes to about rupees 1,300 like that. And actually the cost comes to about rupees 1,190 per gram of the royal jelly. So apart from all these, what is the added advantage that we are getting from these other than the high-based products? That is the pollination. That is, bees pollinate the crop, and as a result we can increase the agricultural production. Okay, so bees actually, they visit the plants for collecting the their food, that is the pollen as well as the nectar. And what are the factors which attract these bees, and why that make them an efficient pollinator? The factors which attract them towards the plants is classified into two, that is the primary attractants and secondary attractants. Primary attractants, under which comes nectar, pollen, oil, resin and other chemical compounds. While the secondary attractants are the color of the petals, then odor, then size and shape of the flower. Size and shape is a very important factor, because the mode of foraging as well as the which type of bee visits which type of flowers, these are all determined by the size as well as the shape of the flower. So one of the important behavior of the bee is floral fidelity. That is nothing but their behavior to forage only on one plant species. Where is it? Now can you see the screen?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Please continue, madam.
Okay. I think this was the last slide. Or just I have to start from the previous slide?
Okay, ma'am. Continue from.
Okay. So apart from the morphological adaptations, communication, as well as the memory power, that is, the bees have the ability to they can understand at what time these flowers will bloom. Okay. Then foraging rate, that's the number of flowers visited per unit time, and the foraging speed, time spent per flower, These all, though it depends upon various factors, the prime thing is the foraging plants, particularly the flower size, shape, and all, and the resources, food sources, all these determining the foraging rate. Okay. Then, what are the advantages due to the bee pollination? It is yield increase. Yield increase both in terms of the quantity as well as the quality. So most of the studies have shown that about 25 to 61% yield increase. Sir, is it audible? Sir?
Yes, madam. Please
Okay. Okay. That is 25 to 61% yield increase has been reported. From our studies, we have done the studies in the cucurbits. That is, they are the most cross-pollinated crops, so we can efficiently utilize the bees in the cross-pollinated crops like cucurbits, and as well as also in the oil-eating, then oil-eating plants, then the seed crops, and also. So what quantitative wise and qualitative wise increase? Quantitative wise means there will be increase in the fruit weight, then number of seeds per fruit, seed weight per fruit, and germination percentage. That is even the mass around the seed. You can see there will be an increase in weight. And here, due to the bee pollination, the pollen grains reaching the ovule can be increased. Thus, the efficient pollination is ensured by means of this bee visit. While quality percentage, fruit set percentage, the malformed fruits, fruit length, fruit diameter. There is increase in the fruit length as well as the fruit diameter. You can see the shape difference in the bee pollinated one and the other one. And in the studies conducted in our area, or even in the poly house also, we tried the stingless bees, and we got up to 61% yield increase in the stingless. So, but the thing is that the farmers are not much aware of this efficient utilization of bees in pollination. So we should concentrate. Keeping is another one is we can efficiently utilize the bees and increase the agricultural production, I mean crop production, as well as sustainability. Through the area under cultivation in India, and potential of about 200 million bee colonies. But we are now using only 34 lakh colonies only, that is 3.4 million. So we have the potential, so we have to develop there is a vast gap in for more development. So only 4 lakh people are involved in the beekeeping, and we are only producing nearly 90 to 95,000 tons of honey, and rest is we are getting from the rock bee colonies, and potential is utilized. So by increasing the beekeeping, and so more people coming into this field means we can provide employment to over 21, produce honey of 10 million tons. And even in the, when we take about the beeswax, so not 4% share in the global market, but still we can produce more beeswax, that's about 15,000 tons. And so the main, by increasing the beekeeping, the main thing is that we can increase the number of colonies, and we can increase the honey production, as well as we can boost the agricultural productivity of the agriculture as well as horticultural crops. And in this aspect, migratory beekeeping is also a very important aspect, and I hope you know that. Migratory beekeeping means we are shifting the hives from areas to the areas where there are rich floral sources are there. Okay. Then, thus, through generation, rural development, and also the nutritional security. And so, in like that of all other ventures, this beekeeping is also having a lot of problems on the constraints like lack of sufficient foraging plants, lack of good infrastructure facilities. Then pesticide use, it's a very important thing. That is in the place where we are keeping the beehive, the application of pesticide has to be done based on the surveillance. That is, at what time the blooming occurs, at what time is the pollinators visiting on these crops, the insecticide. Then try to avoid the insecticide application. That will be good. Then another thing is bee diseases and enemies, and try to manage everything in an organic mode or insecticides only towards the enemies. And apart from these, those means a number of people are coming into this field. They are not aware of the things or the facilities which are being assured for the beekeeping, or what are the agencies which provide the finance, and many of them are not aware of that. So now we can see which are the agencies which are involved in beekeeping in our country. So there are multiple ministries and departments are associated. And first, we can see one by one. First one is the ICR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, under the Ministry of Agriculture. Here, it assists also the state agriculture universities, and its main function is to conduct the research on beekeeping, particularly on the crop pollination, and thereby ensuring the crop productivity, increased crop productivity. And another agency is the Khadi and Village Industries Commission, which comes under the Ministry of MSME. And here, actually, here under this, beekeeping is a forest-based industry, and it is mainly focusing for the honey only. And under this KVIC comes CBRTI Pune, and they are also carrying research activities on the beekeeping development. And another one is the National Bee Board and National Horticulture Mission of Department of Agriculture Corporation, and they mainly support the promote the pollination and as well as the livelihood improvement of the farmers. And apart from these, they support the various state agriculture universities and private beekeeping industry through financially through providing the integrated bee development centers, or IBDCs. And another agency involved in this is the Food Safety Standard Authority of India, FSSAI, which comes under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and they are primarily making standards for the honey and bee products, and also implement effectively. And next one is the EPADA, that is the Agricultural and Processed Food Product Export Development Authority, which comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, and they are the one which primarily deals with the of the honey. And other than all these, part through its FSDF, that is the Farm Sector Development Funds, they support the beekeeping by providing funds through the and NGOs. So recently, under the Atma Nirbhar Abhiyan, the government has allocated nearly 500 Is it okay now, sir?
Yes, yes. Yes, madam, please continue.
Is it okay?
Yes, yes. Yes, madam, please continue. Yes, it is visible, madam. Please continue.
Is it audible?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Again, the net connection here, there is severe problem. Sorry for the interruption. And please bear with it. Okay. So now we are going to the components which has to be taken. Okay. So now we are going to the components. It's all okay.
Yes, yes, it is.
Now once it have to be taken care of during the submission of the project. Okay. So mainly there are two types of costs. That is the non-recurring and the recurring costs are there. Non-recurring is the one which is which we have to invest for it during the initial time. There is one of the equipments, and also the unit has to start. And this one is for the Indian bee that I have shown here. And for that, it is better to start around 5 colonies. In the coming or subsequent years, increase their revenue. That will be better. Suppose we are starting as a group number of beehives, so 150 numbers, then you have to need it for the smooth conduct. For what are the bee. In the initial stage, you can go for the manual processing of the honey, and further after 4 or 5 years, when you have the ample revenue or income, then you can go for purchasing honey processing, for implementing a honey processing components like hive, then the different equipments, then what are the items needed for processing of the honey and all. Then mostly we couldn't have a land of our own. So this beekeeping and advantages we can do this in landless to the beekeeping. That is the advantage. So what we can in our area, we depend mainly on the rubber plantation. So we can lease the land. So these are the different components, and you can see finally the cost comes. And now we can calculate the recurring cost, that is which is needed throughout the year for maintaining all these things, and mainly the laborers are needed. Then miscellaneous expenses are there, and you can calculate. This is the second major component. So you can divide the entire thing into two, that is non-recurring and the recurring cost. And you should have an idea which are components to be included. It may vary based upon your situation. That is, in our area, we are depending on the rubber crop, but in your area, if the foraging plan is different, means you can include other components. What are things needed? Suppose you want to shift the colonies, then you can include that also. That charges also in this. And now you can calculate the returns. What will be the expected returns per year? You can calculate it for the first year, then the recurring cost. So total 6,80,000 for maintaining 150 colonies. Then we can, by following the scientific methods, we can have 12 kg honey from a single harvest. Of that, we will be getting about 1,800 kg. Apart from that, we can harvest the wax also. So the returns comes to about 6 lakh. So what's like that we can calculate the BC ratio, and this is the way how we have to submit the project. So this non-recurring cost occurs only we can manage with the rest of these things. And now you can see a comparison between the interior. Here also I have included the components like bee colonies, the nucleus box, honey extractor, beehives, handles, then feeder frames, beekeeping equipments, then hive, queen gate, then the queen bee, excluded sheet, all these has been included. Then the labor cost for that is for fixing the compoundation sheet, then for the sugar feeding. Then if we are taking them for utilizing them for the pollination service, in that case, what is the cost required? Then like that we have calculated. And what is the production detail? Production details means honey and the wax produced from these. And apart from this, another method by which the beekeepers are earning is through by selling the colonies through division. Earlier, we used to have only one division, but nowadays we are doing 3 divisions during the brood rearing season. I mean, by means of that, from a single colony, you can earn up to 8 numbers of colonies. So that's how we can increase the income. Okay, so based on that, total income it's shown here, and finally you can see the profit. That is net. You can see the profit that is for the Indian bee. It comes about 2,10,500. And apart from this, value addition, we have done many standardized, many value-added products using the honey as well as the wax, and we have calculated the BC ratio, and the wax-based product was found to have maximum BC ratio when compared to the honey-based value-added products. And these the cost may vary depending upon the material used for packing and also all these things. Okay. And so that's about the Indian bee and the Italian bee. So finally, I have to tell one more thing. That's you have to, though I have shown this table to you, first you should have an idea of what are the components which should come under this non-recurring cost. So you can start with initially a small unit, and based on that you can submit the project proposal. And once you have come to that streamline or to that way, then you can increase further. Then in the case of the stimulus bee hive, actually it is very cheap and economic. You just want only one hive, that's wooden hive, made of good quality wood, teak, like that. It comes to about only rupees 200. And no need to go for purchasing the colonies because you can transfer the feral colony or the natural colony seen around your surroundings to these hive. Otherwise, it will cost about 2,000 rupees per colonies. So I can transfer the feral colony from the surroundings, from the grass and crevices seen in and around your area. And then you can start multiply during the April and every month, and you can derive. So you can divide the colony, and you can increase the number of colonies, and it can be effectively utilized in the terrace cultivation, where it was found to increase the production of vegetables very much. And the stingless bee honey, due to its medicinal properties, it fetches a good price, that is rupees 2,000 to 3,000 per kg. Sometimes the farmers, they show a tendency to adulterate this stingless bee honey by mixing with the Indian bee honey. In that case, it is better to give the honey in front of the consumer itself. That's directly you take the honey from the stingless bee colony and then give them in front of them itself. Do not take. So that is about the scope and procedure of the components which are needed for including in a project proposal, and in what way this beekeeping can promote our livelihood. Okay, thank you. Thank you all for being hearing, even though there was some interruption in between.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, sir. Is it audible, sir? I don't know.
Audible. Some problem is there.
Yeah. In between there was net problem. I have already mentioned, sir.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Thank you, madam. Very nice presentation on honeybee. Because you start from now, how many stages there, then what is the entrepreneurship, then we develop this type, this type.
Okay.
So thank you, madam. So some question is coming from a participant. So I read from first. Then first is this: what could be crop plant or weed source behind orange or purple color pollen collected by Apis mellifera?
What is the plant? First I should know from which area is this, because the area in our in Kerala also we are having the orange color pollen, but I couldn't say without observing it under the microscope whether which is that pollen. There are some reference slides, only that. Here what we get is normally the cream colored pollen, that is from the coconut. And the technique which we are doing is the melisopalnological study. Nothing but we are studying the pollen present in the honey, as well as we are collecting the pollen from the corbicula of the honeybees, and also from the brood for inspecting or to analyze from which plant they are carrying the they are collecting this pollen. So it's not possible for me to say in your area which type of pollen is maybe this orange color. Okay. We have to prepare the pollen slide. And by observing the in that what we are doing is we are doing the acetylysis method. We are cellulose will be removed, and then we will be observing the outside characters of that pollen, and there will be reference slides, and by referring that we will be saying which type of the pollen or from which plant this pollen belongs. So by saying this color simply we couldn't say. Okay.
Thank you, madam. Then another question came from
Okay.
what are the selective forces behind bee reaction to smoke and fire as an adaptation?
What are the reason behind smoking of bees?
Yeah,
Pardon, sir. Smoking. Why we are doing the smoking?
yeah.
Is it correct, sir? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
what are the
Smoking.
selective forces behind the bee reaction to smoke and fire as an adaptation?
What, sir? I couldn't follow, sir.
What
What are the
are
reason behind?
selective force behind? What are the selective force behind the reaction to smoke and fire?